All right, welcome to this week's live theater class. This is being recorded, so if you're not live in the class right now, you can watch this on my YouTube channel. I'll send out the address later. I want to say hi to the two students who are here, Gabriel and Jan. How's it going?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. All right, so this week, let me share my screen real quick. Or I'm not sharing it because it's super slow today. Oh, here we go. Wow, internet is interesting today. Well, this week, as we wait for this to show up, we watched two crash course videos. One of them was on Irish playwrights, including George Bernard Shaw. And that is going to be the basis of this class today. So the one you watched this week was this one. Sing, Wilde, Shaw, and the Irish Renaissance. Now, what they don't mention in that is George Bernard Shaw's most famous play, which is called Pygmalion. So that's what this will be based on for the first part. So we're going to watch a PowerPoint on Pygmalion so you can see what it's about. And let me tell you, you've probably seen adaptations of this a bunch of times before because it's one of those stories that they just keep redoing and redoing, which is the basis of the assignment at the end of class. So let's watch this right now.
Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. What do these stories have in common? Pretty woman. She's all that. Stewie teaches Eliza how to lose her accent. Why the title? Playwright George Bernard Shaw adapted a Greek myth, Pygmalion, into his own modern story. Pygmalion, the original myth. Pygmalion was a sculptor from Cyprus who had no interest in the local women. He found them immoral and frivolous. Instead, he concentrated on his art until one day he ran across a large, flawless piece of ivory and decided to carve a beautiful woman from it. Pygmalion, the original myth. When he had finished the statue, Pygmalion found it so lovely and the image of his ideal woman that he clothed the figure and adorned her in jewels. He gave the statue a name, Galatea, sleeping love. He begged Aphrodite for a wife as perfect as his statue. She took pity on him, and allowed Galatea to come to life. Pygmalion, play, themes. Roles of the sexes. What does it mean to be a lady or gentleman of society? Class distinctions. What purpose do they serve? How are they maintained? Manners, important or ridiculous? Personal identity. Is one what society perceives one to be or something controlled by the self? Speech. What does it say about us? Characters. Henry Higgins, a phonetics expert and a scientist who loves anything that can be studied as a scientific subject. His enthusiasm for the study masks his human qualities. Eliza Doolittle, an uneducated, streetwise Cockney flower girl. Her intelligence allows her to recognize her self-worth and the worth of others. Alfred Doolittle, Eliza's father, an elderly but vigorous dustman, who can borrow money from his most miserly friends. Doolittle describes himself as the undeserving poor. Mrs. Higgins, Henry Higgins' mother, kind, sympathetic, understands those she encounters well. She is the gracious lady of the house.
All right, so let's break this down real quick. Henry Higgins basically is a guy who wants to take this character, Eliza Doolittle, and make her high society. So he teaches her the proper way to speak. Basically, he makes her into who he wants her to be. And you'll find out later on the second page of characters, he does so as a bet or a dare from this other guy who says he can't do it.
Characters. Frederick Ensford Hill, Eliza Doolittle's young suitor from the upper class. Freddie shows complete devotion throughout the play. Miss Clara Ensford Hill, sister of Freddie, very comfortable in society, though without the wealth to actually support the lifestyle. Mrs. Ensford Hill, mother of Freddie and Clara, very socially conscious and interested in those people her children associate with. Pygmalion, characters. Nepomuk, Henry Higgins' first language student, adept in several languages. Mrs. Pierce, Henry Higgins' housekeeper, a practical, proud woman. Mrs. Pierce is not afraid of Henry, but conscious of her middle-class status. Colonel Pickering, an acquaintance of Higgins who has lived in the British colonies in India and become very adept at the Indian dialects. Pickering becomes the caring, kind voice in Higgins' scientific experiment. He views Eliza Doolittle as a person worthy of respect. Influences on Shaw, the author. The outbreak of war in 1914 changed Shaw's life. For Shaw, the war was a tragic waste of young lives under the guise of patriotism. He expressed his opinions in a series of newspaper articles, but he was treated as an outcast, and there was even talk of his being tried for treason.
All right. So basically, this Colonel Pickering guy that we heard about on the second page is the guy that makes the bet with Henry Higgins that he can or cannot transform Eliza Doolittle into a lady. Now, this is not new. It's been redone a million times. Probably not a million, but a bunch of times. Okay, so the assignment, which due next Thursday, is you're going to watch Pygmalion or an adaptation of it and write a one-page review of the film, include the themes of social class, transformation, and manipulation. So these are there's the original Pygmalion from 1938, which is free on YouTube. Probably won't like it. I suggest using a modern adaptation. The adaptations are She's All That from 1999. That's on Hulu, and it's free on Xfinity Stream until tomorrow. So you can watch that today. Can't Buy Me Love from 1987 is free on Hulu. Love Don't Cost a Thing with Nick Cannon is the same story as Can't Buy Me Love, but from the 2000s. That's on VH1 on Saturday. Grease is on VH1 tomorrow night at like 11:30 p.m. Or you can watch Grease 2 on Pluto TV for free anytime. And if you want, there's a Family Guy episode called One If by Clam, Two If by Sea, and that's free on Hulu. Now, not free are Pretty Woman and Trading Places, and they're both rated R. So first off, anyone have any questions?
Nope.
No, so you understand the story. Basically, they take like let's say you and Gabriel had a bet that you could make someone in class like the perfect prom date. That's pretty much the She's All That story. And then if you do it, you win said money, and if you don't, then whatever the bet is, Gabriel would win. That's basically the story of Pygmalion. You could also watch My Fair Lady, which is an old musical, but they sing a lot, and I guarantee you'll hate it.
Seems self-explanatory.
Right. So you just want to watch one of the adaptations or the original, and then write a one-page review of the film. I'm just going over again in case you're watching the video and you didn't quite catch it. Include the themes of social class, transformation, and manipulation. We're talking one page, just enough that I know that you understand how they manipulated the character in question, whether the experiment was successful. And like I said, the adaptations are the original Pygmalion, She's All That, Can't Buy Me Love, Love Don't Cost a Thing, Grease, Grease 2, and the Family Guy episode, And if you want to, they're not free, but if you can access them and you want to watch Pretty Woman or Trading Places, they're both rated R. Just let me know. And that is due next Thursday, which is May 7th at midnight. So really Friday morning. I'll check for it. Plus, you'll have 2 more crash course videos.
Okay.